Riyadh. Rybakina scores upset win over Sabalenka for WTA Finals title. The dark horse, who was the last to qualify for the WTA Finals Riyadh, Elena Rybakina, lifted the spoils on Saturday, beating the world no one Aryna Sabalenka at her own game in the singles final to hoist the Billie Jean King trophy and pocket the largest purse in women's sport, $5.235 million, around £4 million. The most difficult thing was that she was just, going for her shots, and she was making those lines after lines after lines. I was just trying to wait for opportunity. I feel like she just decided that she's just going to step in and go for her shots without thinking and without doubting any decisions. And I think she was a bit more brave today than me. Aryna Sabalenka. It's been an incredible week. I honestly didn't expect any result, and to go so far is just incredible. Rybakina said about a title run that also included wins over the world No. 2, Iga Swiatek, 4th-seeded Amanda Anisimova, and Jessica Pegula, the 5th seed, before dealing a brutal 6-3 7-6-0 blow to upset to Sabalenka. It was a personal triumph for the Russian-born Kazakh, who had made a late run to arrive at the finals, where she capped her 3-title season that included Strasbourg and Ningbo, by making her the 10th consecutive first-time WTA Finals champion. Rybakina has had a curious season, as for the first time in 4 years, she did not reach a Grand Slam or WTA 1000 final, while on the other hand, she was the only player to post double-digit match wins across the Grand Slams, WTA 1000s and WTA 500s. It was a lot of ups and downs throughout the year, Rybakina said coming into Riyadh. But we were trying to improve, even if it's end of the season. I'm sure, if I do well this week, it's going to be great. Rybakina finished second on tour for titles behind only Sabalenka, with 4, and tied Swiatek and Jessica Pegula with 3. While she also ended the year with a 58-19 record, the strongest of her career. The win also narrowed her rivalry with Sabalenka to 8-6, with 3 of those victories now coming in finals, at Indian Wells in 2023, Brisbane in 2024, and Riyadh in 2025. She played incredible. Sabalenka said after her loss to Rybakina, "I feel like I did my best today. It didn't work, but I think so many things I have to be proud of. And yeah, I'm leaving this tournament without any disappointment. I leave with this tournament being proud of myself and the things that we've been able to achieve." It was, of course, a mighty blow to the Belarusian, who sat with her team in the player box fighting off tears as preparations were made to crown Rybakina the queen of the WTA season. Sabalenka was named the year-end world No. 1 for a second time in a row, one of only 7 women to hold the top spot across consecutive calendar years, and it was due acknowledgement of her constant presence on tour, apparently quite unbothered by her position. She finishes 2025 with 4 titles and 63 match wins, including the US Open and 2 WTA 1000 trophies, but she faltered at both the Australian Open and Roland Garros in the finals. But she also registered 15 top 10 victories, the most of any player this season. In Riyadh, in the contest meant to crown her season, she finally met her match in Rybakina, who will finish the year at a career-high No. 5, after she stretched her winning streak to 11 straight on Saturday night to capture the WTA Finals title. Matching power with power, Rybakina's quiet composure was in sharp contrast to Sabalenka's increasing volume of aggression. They opened with a heavy-hitting tug-of-war, both landing big first serves until Rybakina found her range and broke to love for a 4-2 lead in the first set, sealing the game when the world No. 1 netted an overhead. Doubt began to seep into Sabalenka's steely resolve, as, serving for the set at 5-3, Rybakina remained composed and capitalized on 2 errors to close out the set, 6-3. In the second, Sabalenka saved 2 break points in the third game, and 2 more at 4-4 to stay even, but her resistance faded in the tiebreak, a surprising twist for the player who had won a record 22 of them this season, the most by anyone in the Open era. She was firmly shut out of this one though, as Rybakina delivered a 7-0 Spiegel and took the honors when Sabalenka struck a backhand return long on match point. I was trying to stay very focused, Rybakina told the media afterwards. And I think, even on the tiebreak, only when I heard the game, set, match then I realized that, yeah, the match is finished, because I had also experienced being up on the tiebreak and losing it. So honestly, I was just focusing really. The final had lasted an hour and 47 minutes, with Rybakina striking 13 aces and converting one of her 6 breakpoint chances, which was the only break of the night, while Sabalenka generated 5 opportunities of her own but could not capitalize on any of them. Rybakina, the 2022 Wimbledon champion, played her first title match in her 3rd consecutive WTA Finals appearance, with her serve, as usual, proving to be her most potent weapon. After hitting 15 aces against Pegula in the semifinals, she added 13 more against Sabalenka and saved all 5 break points she faced, while also winning nearly 77% of her first serve points. Some moments, when I needed it the most, the serve worked, Rybakina said, even though she was really playing well and pushing me in the tough situations. Sabalenka reputedly has the most powerful game on tour, but Rybakina produced far faster ground strokes off both wings, constantly keeping the top seed under pressure, and leaving the Belarusian to strike off balance shots and muttering to herself. Even before that ultimate tiebreak, Rybakina had asserted herself. Down 4-5 in the second set, she saved 2 set points. The most difficult thing was that she was just, going for her shots, and she was making those lines after lines after lines. Sabalenka said, I was just trying to wait for opportunity. The 26-year-old, who changed her allegiance from Russia to Kazakhstan in 2018, recorded her tour-best 45th hard-court win of the season, with an overall 58-19 record that included 3 titles for the year. To win the WTA Finals is a first for any player representing Kazakhstan or any Asian nation, for that matter, and she was quick to thank the representatives of the Tennis Federation sitting in her box for their support. For Sabalenka, it was a second loss in the final of the season-ending tournament, after the 4-time Grand Slam winner fell to France's Caroline Garcia in the 2022 title match at Fort Worth. Sabalenka, who entered the match with an 8-5 head-to-head edge over Rybakina, earned $2.7 million for her efforts as the runner-up, setting a new WTA single-season prize money record and surpassing Serena Williams' 2013 mark. Rybakina had entered the tournament at less than her best with a sore right shoulder and decided to go all in on a first-strike attack mode strategy. I feel like she just decided that she's just going to step in and go for her shots without thinking and without doubting any decisions, Sabalenka said of Rybakina. And I think she was a bit more brave today than me. Later, Rybakina reflected on her win. Well, it gives a lot of motivation, and hopefully I get some good rest, and I can keep this mentality and bring it to the next season. And yeah, hopefully, we can improve even more and start strong. And I'm really glad that that was pretty stable throughout the whole tournament. There was an incident in the trophy presentation that caused eyebrows to be raised as the new WTA Finals champion declined a photo opportunity with WTA Tour Chief Executive Portia Archer, presumably in the wake of the tour's investigation into Rybakina's coach, Stefano Vukov. Rybakina posed with Sabalenka and other dignitaries, but took herself off to the right-hand side of the podium when Archer appeared, gesturing to an official to continue without her. The WTA provisionally suspended Vukov from coaching and obtaining credentials for WTA events last autumn, before barring him for 1 year following the conclusion of a code of conduct investigation. Rybakina always maintained that Vukov had never mistreated her, and the coach appealed the suspension ahead of this year's French Open, resulting in the lifting of the ban in August, after Vukov and the WTA entered into private arbitration. Although she initially declined to comment when asked about the snub in her news conference, Rybakina said when asked by reporters again, "Well, I think we're all doing our job, and we had the opportunity to have conversations, but in the end, they never happened. So we're all doing our job, and I think we're going to keep it this way."